case there's any food particles there. Because if there's a food particle on there, or a little bit of that syrup is on there, that can affect your seal. Okay, so I'll give you that. And the vinegar. Alright, so now you've got your lid. Goes right on. Okay, make sure it's fitting on there properly. You'll feel it. Now you're going to seal what we do. We call this a fingertip seal. So you don't want to screw it on real tight. You just turn it with the 2 fingers until it stops. Because you want, this is not what's preserving your food. The ring is not what's preserving your food. The lid is. So this is just to hold that lid in place. Alright, but you want water to be able to kind of go through there and to seal that lid. If you go too tight, it can cause problems in the canner for you. Okay, so that's that. So I'll fill and you guys can seal. Okay. We put the vinegar. Oh, I forgot to show you something. The tongs that I had. I used toaster tongs. Okay. We're going to have to clean this jar again. But you want to use something wooden. A wooden spoon is good. You don't really want to use metal if you can avoid it. But while your jar funnel is on there, go ahead and push the fruit down just a little for any bubbles to work their way up. Okay? To release the air to the top. And these are pretty well packed. So in a looser kind of fruit, like when we can oranges, we get a lot of air that comes out. Okay. All right. What was that one? Oh. It always uses less liquid than you think it will. That's always how it seems to work with me. Okay, so this one's ready for the canner. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Just kind of push without kind of chopping that fruit up. Just a little pressure to any bubbles will come up. Okay. So you want to make sure you get all the seeds and all the peel and everything off, because that's going to float around in your jar. Oh yeah, we're going to have some pie. Okay. Your tongs. Not a whole lot of air coming up out of these. Y'all did really good. The better packed it is, the less air is going to come up out of them. So when you're filling, it's okay if the fruit is not completely covered, if it's just a little out of the water in the top, but you don't want it fully exposed, you know. So it's just a little, it's fine. Okay. Usually when I can, I will can all day. Because if I'm going to go to all this trouble, I want to get the full mileage out of it. Yeah. Okay, where are you going? This one? Okay.
Way to go.
So I'll freeze things until I'm ready to can.
Okay.
And I'll get my water bath canner and my pressure canner out at the same time, and I'll multitask all day and can.
That's awesome.
And then usually I think of 2 or 3 other things to make out of something I was making, and then I end up canning another day. So the more you can, the more you learn that multiplication process, the further your food goes, the more you get out of it. It can be kind of addicting. Some people get crazy about it and they can everything. One time I thought I'd be smart and I found some corn on sale and I thought I would can that. Well, it wasn't worth it.
Sorry.
It's a lot of work, okay, to do when I can go buy a can of corn for 50 cents. So just be mindful of that. Is it going to be worth the effort? But it's a lot of fun, so to me it's usually worth the effort. Is that where my, can't see with the light? Okay.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so we have 4 that are ready to go in the canner. You might want to turn the...
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and get those in there. Okay, so every recipe, if you want to get a good canning cookbook, all right, so you'll have all your times.
Just the tight, if I got them tight in there.
Yeah. Because all of your, so these are warm, okay, because we just hot packed them with hot liquid. So they're going to go, they can go into hot water. You don't have to worry. We do need some more water though. Okay, so get a good canning cookbook because every recipe has different times. Okay, this is going to can in the boiling water with the water covering a 1/2 inch over the lid for 15 minutes. Okay. Alright. So this one got syrup. That one's ready to go. Okay.
Just gotta push it.
So a timer is a good thing to have too. Usually I set the timer to make sure I'm using the right times. Especially when you get into pressure canning. You have to have the right pressure and the right times or your food will not be safe. Botulism happens. Okay? We don't need to freak out or worry about it. I was really scared when I first started canning meat. But once I got a little more comfortable, I was fine. But we do need to be aware. Okay, if you ever pull something off the shelf, okay, look at it first. Does it look okay? Open it, smell it. Does it smell okay? All right. Before you serve it. If it looks good and smells good, it's good. But this, you know, the canning guidelines have different shelf times. That's why you want a cookbook for each thing that you make. But we know in the old days, they would eat them years later. So just use your own wisdom and judgment. Follow the guidelines, but think for yourself. Okay. Alright, so these are ready to go. That one needs syrup.
Yeah.
We didn't make any
Just a little more.
cinnamon ones. We didn't have it. We didn't make enough for cinnamon.
We do what?
You want to do those?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do them.
All right. So what we're going to do then is start over on that jar. Okay, so we decided to make a couple of these, the red hot cinnamon apples. So I'm going to take them out of the jar. I'll take the liquid out. Okay. And then we're going to go heat this. If you take the lid off, this was the liquid I already made, because remember I like to multitask. Alright, so the last time I made apples, I made extra liquid. So now I'm only doing that one time, instead of the next time I have to make the liquid. I do the same thing with my marmalade. When I'm juicing oranges, I go ahead and can the juice. So next time I want to make a pie, it's there. Okay, so always be thinking ahead. Alright, so we can go ahead and pop this seal and stick it in the microwave and bring it to temp. And we'll make these last two the red hot apples. So here I'll show you. Okay, this jar was water bath canned. Alright, I can use my nails or a little can opener and pop it.
Oh, that's a tight seal.
Yeah, this one needs a can opener. But something that is pressure canned takes more work. It's going to pull it tighter, that seal. Thank you. They make a jar opener. I have this little Coca-Cola one because it doesn't have the pointer, you know, like the can openers that have the point, because I'm not going to mess up my lid. So, pop it off. There you go. So this lid looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to save it. Now if you're selling stuff, I'm going to put that in the microwave.
How many seconds?
Hmm?
How many seconds?
I would bring it to like a minute to bring it up close to as boiling as you can. So if you're selling items, okay, you don't want to reuse your lids. You want to use new lids, or if you're giving them away, all right, because you want to make sure, you know, you're not setting somebody up for botulism. But they are safe to use. I use them for my personal use, to use them again, as long as the seal is not messed up and there's no dents in the metal, there's no discoloration in this white surface there, you can reuse them again. You can take fingernail polish remover with a cotton ball and wipe off any writing. I just write on the top of mine. See, that says red hot. Okay, but you can take fingernail polish and get that off and wash it again and reuse it. And the same with the ring. As long as there's no dents or damage, it should be fine. You can get 3-4 uses out of the same lids and rings if you're careful with them. Okay? Alright, so this one's hot, ready to go. Thank you, Amber. This is going to make a mess when I spill. So let's do it here over this. I was using a lot more. Okay, so that's syrup made from red hot candies. And we can, if there's room in the jar, you can stick a little cinnamon stick in there for adventure. So it's just going to add all the more cinnamon flavor. So I just kind of usually wedge it down in the side. Or usually I put them in when I fill it, but we're doing it after the fact. we're kind of backtracking. You want to get that cinnamon all the way under the water. There we go. Okay, so that one's ready. That's the cool thing about fruit that I enjoy, because you can just kind of maneuver it easier. Alright, so that one's ready. So we've got 2 cinnamon ones. We might even could get a 3rd one out of that if we wanted to.
A little more.
A little more?
Yeah. Well, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, is that all of them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a lot.
Yeah. So it made 8. 2 bags made 8 jars.
Okay.
We packed them extra heavy, so
Yeah, we did.
we might have been able to stretch them, but not much. Okay, so we can get this out of here. All right.
Some bueno.
So see how pretty those are? Okay, so when you're putting them in the boiling water, you're blanching it. So it's a raw pack, but you're blanching it to preserve it in the boiling water. That's why the times are important, and you want to look at each recipe. Okay. So these have probably been in about 10 minutes. These are mostly for the purpose of demonstration today. But look at that when I bring it out of the canner. See, the water's boiling. That's what you want. You see the difference in the color just barely between the fresh. Notice a little bit. So it's going to preserve that close to that natural color, but just a little bit. You know it's blanched. You can do potatoes. I've seen people French fry, cut them. Of course, that's pressure canning. But if you have a bunch of potatoes and you need to do something, you can cut them all up and can them. And then when you're ready to make your French fries or your potatoes, you just open a can. This one holds 4 at a time, 4 pint jars. If you have a bigger pot, you can get like 6 or 8 in there if you're doing it on the stove top. I just like this because it's easier to keep it at a boiling temp without having to turn the stove on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you've pulled these out of your old batch. We can move this out of the way. Okay, so you pulled your original batch out of the canner, alright? Normally I have a tray sitting there, but you should have moved in with the tray. Okay, so you want to leave them alone. That's why we use a tray, because you can move them easier if you have to. So you leave them set right there, okay? You'll hear them ping. That's how you know they're sealed. And they'll make a ping sound after a few minutes, just randomly. We call it singing. They'll start singing
Okay.
one at a time. That lets you know that that lid has gone convex and sealed to the jar. Okay, if you come back after a few minutes and you haven't heard the ping or you're not sure, you can take a spoon and tap on the top. If it sounds hollow or that can move, it's not sealed. If you thump it and it's solid sounding, it's sealed. So that's a little safety catch. Then once it's cooled off and dried, you want to take your ring off the jar so that the lid will be on your jar, okay, sealed to your jar with your product in it. Take your lid off, take a towel and dry all inside of there so that water from the boiling water doesn't rust inside your ring. Dry your jar all around there. Put your ring back on, and then you can take the little vinegar towel, paper towel, whatever, with a little vinegar, and just kind of wipe your jar off to get any film off of it. And then once it's cool, you can label. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's all we have for you today. We'll be making some more videos. We're glad that you're interested in canning. We know God's going to bless your journey with that. It's a lot of fun. I've gotten really creative with it, and it's been a neat process. So we bless your canning process, and we look forward to coming and doing the next video for the next step in canning. So enjoy. God bless.